Morning, brethren, and welcome to another daily devotional. We're thinking of this prayer of Paul for the life of these Philippian Christians when he prays that they may be pure and blameless until the day of Jesus Christ. Yesterday we looked at some of the pictures that lie behind that word pure, a picture of precious metal going into a furnace and the dross being taken off, or the picture of contaminated water passing through filtration systems until eventually it comes out pure. But there's another picture here. That word pure, as some of you will notice if you read it in the King James Version, for instance, it says that you may be sincere and blameless until the day of Christ. And that word sincere is a lovely picture to think about. It's taking a garment out into the sunlight, holding it up to the sunlight to make sure there are no stains or no flaws in the garment. Nothing that can be noticed. The word sincere comes from the Latin sine cera, which literally means without wax. And what used to happen in Paul's day was that if there was a defect in a piece of pottery, say that a potter was making, a crack, rather than completely redoing it, he would take some beeswax and he would rub it into the defect. And if the beeswax was rubbed over a crack, you would never see it unless you held it up to a very bright light. And only then you would see the crack. To say that something was sine cera, was sincere, was to say that it was without wax, without flaws. And that's what Paul is praying for in relation to the lives of these Philippian believers. He wants them to be the sort of people who would not be ashamed to have their lives held up to scrutiny. That there's nothing in their lives that they could be accused of legitimately that is going against their Christian faith. So Paul says that he wants them to be pure, but he also says he wants them to be blameless. Some translations are without offence, and the word means to stumble yourself or to cause someone else to stumble. And most commentators believe it should be understood here in the sense of not causing anyone else to stumble. In other words, Paul is saying, my desire for you is that you should live your life in such a way that you would never, by your life, cause a fellow believer to stumble or to go off the rails in his or her Christian life. That you would not cause an unbeliever to be put off Christianity by the way you live. I wonder, brethren, is that the case for us? Can we say that we are blameless in the sense that we live our lives so as not to cause another believer to stumble? And we live our lives in such a way that it doesn't put unbelievers off the Christian faith, that our lives rather would be attractive to them when it comes to considering the Christian faith. Would be men and women and young people whose lives are pure and whose lives are blameless. What a prayer to pray for yourself and indeed for fellow believers. May God help us to be men and women who are pure and blameless for the sake of Christ. Have a good day, folks.